When most people think about home defense or personal protection, they think about firearms. But what if a firearm isn't the right tool for you? Today, we're breaking down less lethal launchers, what they are, how they work, and why more and more people are choosing them as a serious defensive option. A less lethal launcher is exactly what it sounds like, a device designed to incapacitate a threat without the intent to kill. These launchers fire projectiles, like rubber rounds, pepper balls, or chemical irritants at velocities powerful enough to stop a threat in its tracks. And here's the key word: less lethal, not non-lethal. These devices can cause serious injury if misused or used at close range, so they deserve the same respect you'd give any defensive tool. Less lethal launchers aren't just a consolation prize for people who can't have a firearm. They're a deliberate choice, and people choose them for a lot of different reasons. First, there are people who are legally prohibited from owning a firearm. Whether it's a prior conviction, a domestic violence restraining order, or another legal restriction, those individuals still have a right to defend themselves. Second, there are people who simply do not want to take a life, even in a defensive situation. That's a deeply personal and entirely valid position. A less lethal launcher gives you the ability to stop a threat without the irreversible consequences of lethal force. So, what are your actual options? Let's run through the main categories. CO2 and air-powered launchers are some of the most common civilian options. They're typically compact, reliable, and can fire pepper balls or rubber projectiles. Each type has its own effective range, payload options, and legal considerations, which brings us to our next point. Before you go out and pick one up, there are a few things you need to be aware of. Know your local laws. Regulations around less lethal launchers vary by state and municipality. Do your homework before you buy. Less lethal launchers aren't for everyone, but they're a serious, legitimate defensive option that deserves serious consideration. At Less Lethal AF, we dig into the specifics, the launchers, the ammo, the real-world performance data, so you can make an informed decision. Stay safe out there.